So let's talk a little bit more about the expenses that you can deduct. So if I do qualify for an office and home, can I deduct mileage from my office and home anywhere else?
Oh, actually, I'm glad you started out with that item first, because sometimes office and home, for example, in the area we live is very rural. So when you start looking at a typical office and home is anywhere from 7 to 15 is a lot of times an extreme high office and a home amount. So
that's 7 or 15%.
7 to 15% of the total
of the
house.
Home. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so what happens is people look at it, and after all the rules, they go, it's not that big a deduction. Mm-hmm. But what happens is mileage is from it to and from work. Mileage is not deductible. So the big takeaway that I find where we live at, and I'll go back to the plumber example, is what the law says. I'm in a trade or business. My mileage is deductible when I get to work, not from my home to work. Because if I'm an employee, I don't get to deduct my miles driving to work. So it's fair game. It's the same rule for everybody.
Right. You chose that work. You have to drive.
Right. So then if I have that office in the home, my bigger deduction is not the office and home. It's the mileage, because I'm the plumber and I get a call at midnight and I'm going to go fix that, that water line break. From the time I leave my house till I go fix it and I come back, all that mileage counts. But if I didn't have that office and home and I had a plumbing place downtown, then what would happen is that I would then be questioned on when did my mileage start. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people try to get office and home for mileage purposes because I get it every time I leave the house. So that
makes sense.
That's a biggie. That's a biggie.
Yeah, that can add up real quick. Let's just talk about a couple other scenarios. If I was going to a seminar, just running to the store to get supplies, would those kinds of miles also be a deduction?
Yes. If I have the office and home, so that's the question I have. It's given that we have an office and home. Then if I have to run and get supplies, the person with candles has to go down to UPS to ship something or pick something up. That mileage all counts. Okay. If I go to a seminar, the mileage to the seminar and back then would count. So mileage is a huge item.